Being orphaned at the age of 6 years, Sakthivel is raised by his elder brother, Chandra Prakash, and his sister-in-law Durga, whom he means as his mother, because of her immense affection to him. They are all settled in Udhayampalayam near Coimbatore district. As a young guy, Sakthi has got trained himself in Salambam, Vallari, and in National Cadet Corps under Air Wing. Sakthi aims to join Air Force after being attracted to the studies of Air Force, though he wishes to join IPS at the beginning. Besides being an intelligent and expert in martial arts, Sakthi is also a famous and popular student in his 10th and 12th classes, due to his motivational stories, where he depicted the themes of motivation, patriotism, and anti-corruption. Sakthi also won several badges and awards for his stories. Best views on social problems for Sakthi. The reason for his success is his close friend Akhil Ram, friends from childhood, raised up in an orphanage. Sakthi's friends popularize him just not for the strength in his academics and sports, but also widely respected due to Sakthi and Akhil Ram's strong friendship. 3 years passes and Sakthi had finished his college. He has completely changed his looks with an army haircut, small beard around his neck with a small mustache. Sakthi is about to get engaged with his girlfriend Ishika, an investigative journalist in Coimbatore, with whom he is in love from college days. Further, Sakthi is waiting for his job in Air Force as he have finished his training. Akhil Ram is now going into some illegal activities as he have not been selected in the IPS. But Sakthi himself have an own agenda to be executed before his postings. Currently, Akhil and Sakthi's relationship is strained. He goes to meet her in the Ganpati temple, near Ganpati, where she has been wearing a shawl-made dress with a long hair and beautiful face. She comes towards Sakthi, where she gets stopped by some Brahmins, working in the temple. While speaking with them, Sakthi calls Ishika suddenly and she hangs his call. Here, Sakthi calls a girl and he tells her to give his rose balloon to Ishika. However, his plan backfires since she returns the rose balloon to the girl itself. Now, Ishika comes towards Sakthi and they both stands besides. "Hey, how many times could I have told you not to do like this?" said Ishika. "If you have attended the call and said, 'I love you,' there's no problem like this, right?" said Sakthi. "How many times should I say 'I love you' to you?" asked Ishika. "For a week, you have to say me 'I love you,'" said Sakthi. "For weeks, should I say 'I love you' to you?" "For seconds, if I say 'I love you' to you, is it okay?" asked Ishika. "Hey, see, how many seconds are wasting? Tell me 'I love you,'" joked Sakthi. They have a small romance fight and leaves to home, where Sakthi meets his brother and sister-in-law, seeking their blessings. "Before coming to meet us, you have gone to meet Ishika. Is it Sakthi?" asked Chandra Prakash. "No, brother. Not like such. I was delighted to meet her after 5 years." "Do you know?" asked Sakthi. "It's okay, Sakthi. I just told for fun." "Okay. Have a nice day," said Chandra Prakash, and he leaves to meet a client for his advocate case. Sakthi's sister-in-law learns that his and Akhil's friendship have been strained for few years and tries to make them up, which is stopped eventually by Sakthi. He and Ishika have a blast to Idukki district of Kerala. They had a great day in Idukki district, and one day, Sakthi desperately takes Ishika's phone to contact his brother as his phone got switched off, and after speaking with them, he notices some of Ishika's photos about arms trafficking and drug trafficking business taking place in Coimbatore district and Vijayawada, and he gets shocked. With the photos, Sakthi confronts Ishika, who admits her guilt of undercover investigation. However, she is surprised at the questions of Sakthi about these, and she indeed asks the reason behind Sakthi's investigation. "I am not Sakthi, indeed. My name is Sai Adhithya, Sakthi's lookalike," said Sakthi, a shocking truth to Ishika. Knowing that Ishika will not believe this, Sai Adhithya shows the photos of Sakthi's dead photos, and he himself tells the events that occurred before 4 years. Sai Adhithya was working as the DCP of Vijayawada district, while Sakthi was in Kashmir for his training. He was also, indeed, traveling in the same train in which Sakthi also traveled. Some of the goons, who learned about his trafficking investigation, misunderstood Sakthi as Sai Adhithya and they stabs him to death in the train, despite Sai Adhithya's attempt to save him. Learning about Sakthi's family, Sai Adhithya further learned his mannerisms and trained himself in martial arts skills before coming to meet Sakthi's brother. Indeed, the reason behind the investigation of this case is due to the DGP of Vijayawada, who suspects the illegal activities to be undergone in Coimbatore as the head district. Sakthi's death makes Ishika shattered and she leaves Sai Adhithya in Idukki district and goes to Coimbatore district. The next day, she goes missing, which shocks Sai Adhithya. Suspecting that she might have been kidnapped, he rushes to Coimbatore and decides to save her at any cost. However, the next day, a bleeding and dead Ishika is found near the bushes of Durga Road, Coimbatore district. Akhil also comes to the spot and Sai Adhithya is shattered with Ishika's death. Akhil now comes to meet Sakthi's brother and he reveals the exact reasons to them. He also reveals that the guy with them is not Sakthi, but Sai Adhithya, and further reveals that he was one of the reasons for Sakthi's death, because of his profession as IPS officer. Akhil himself was in an undercover mission to trap some arms trafficking goons, and indeed he suspects that Ishika was killed after being known that she's an undercover journalist. Akhil confronts Sai Adhithya for his emotions in Ishika's death. In further, Sai Adhithya is emotional. If Sakthi is not dead, then Sai Adhithya's dreams will get shattered, said Sai Adhithya, which leaves Akhil in shock. Since the latter is not Sai Adhithya but indeed Sakthi. Sakthi cries for a while and reveals what exactly had happened at that time. Now, another flashback is revealed by Sakthi. Shortly after the completion of his training in Air Force, Sakthi was returning to Coimbatore in train, in which Sai Adhithya was also traveling. There, in the train, Sakthi noticed some of men beating up Adhithya, and in a bid to avoid confusion he masked his face and tried to save Adhithya. But he was stabbed to death by those goons. Sakthi was stunned and doesn't know what to do. Hence, he avoided it and returned to his seats. However, a police officer, DGP Vijay Krishna, Sai Adhithya's mentor, noticed him in the train eventually, after learning Sai Adhithya's death. He was happy that there is a look-alike for Sai Adhithya, and he forced Sakthi to take the position of Sai Adhithya as the DCP. However, Sakthi refused as he considered IPS as one of dangerous positions been held. But he agrees after learning about the dreams of Sai Adhithya for IPS through his phone, and has indeed sacrificed his Air Force dreams in order to fulfill the unfinished work of Sakthi's. For this mission, DGP Vijay Krishna gave him a special training in Dehradun after talking with his Air Force associates. As per the duo's agreement, after Sakthi completes Adhithya's works, he will return to Air Force again, to which Vijay agrees. He planned to reveal these things to Ishika once the mission is completed. But she died mysteriously. Akhil feels guilt for hurting his friend Sakthi, and they all reconciles with their families. Sakthi vows not to marry after seeing Ishika's death. In the same way, Vijayan, a famous doctor in KMCH hospitals, goes missing, and indeed, the next day, he is found dead, which shatters his daughter, Yachini. As Ishika's and Vijayan's characters are spoiled by the public, Sakthi vows to prove them as good and decides to start the investigation on a 3-tier basis: arms trafficking and drug trafficking under Akhil's hand, Ishika's and Vijayan's death under Sakti's hand, while they both collides to investigate the masterminds. Sakthi searches into Ishika's house and learns that she used to go for Bangkok many times with Dr. Vijayan for some important works, and he decides to go for Bangkok with Akhil's companionship. Seeing the photo of the lady with Ishika, he seeks permission from DGP and flies for Bangkok. Here, Yachini too has arrived to investigate her father's demise, and both Sakthi and Akhil finds this out. From the beginning, the duo's relationship is strained, with Yachini right after the incidents. Akhil and Sakthi meets the lady and learns that Ishika had collected the evidences regarding the gun smuggling and drug smuggling businesses in Bangkok with the help of Dr. Vijayan, who had also agreed to help her out in this after learning that his own relative Meena Kumari and his younger brother Vikram is mastermind behind the illegal activities, and he vowed to punish them off. But, in reality, it has not happened. Before the execution of this plan, Yachini's father and Ishika was killed with a police officer, Sai Adhithya, in charge of this case in a train. However, a minute after the lady's confession, she is killed by some goons in the place while Akhil and Sakthi are left injured for dead. Yachini, who too just arrived in the spot to meet the lady, sees the injured Akhil and Sakthi and rescues them to India with the help of Bangkok government. After recovering, Sakti's brother asks him either to choose him or his profession. Sakthi, with a heavy heart, chooses to investigate the case, after which he disowned him and leaves the place with his family. Sakthi and Akhil take shelter in Gunputty police headquarters and decides to continue their investigation behind Ishika's murder. Meanwhile, Dr. Vijayan is alive and has been kidnapped by his relatives. It's indeed, his look-alike, a North Indian, was killed by them while Ishika was brutally injured and killed by Vikram. This news is somehow learnt by Sakti's close friend, Arvind, an undercover investigator, and Sakthi goes furious after learning Vikram is Ishi's murderer. However, he first decides to rescue Dr. Vijayan and informs to Yachini. Akhil and Sakthi kidnaps Vikram and calls Meena Kumari. They slaps him left and right in conference to Meena Kumari, who watches it all, and her henchman says, "They are giving a live program for the roast, I think. Be silent, brother." She will hear it, said his colleague. Dr. Vijayan is first rescued by Akhil and Sakthi. Now, Sakthi holds Vikram in gunpoint and calls Meena Kumari in video call. "Hey, don't do anything to Vikram. I will ask him to surrender for Ishika's death," said Meena Kumari. "What? Surrender? Ah. Do we want to feed him egg rice and fish by taking him to prison? That's all for the one who does an unknowing mistake. But you all spoiled the lives of this nation and people," said Sakthi and Akhil. "Sakthi, please obey my orders. Don't do anything to Vikram," said Meena Kumari. "Vikram tried to kill Dr. Vijayan while we were rescuing him. When we both tried to save him, he slit my hand. Left with no choice, we shot Vikram brutally to death," said Sakthi as a headline news. "Hey, don't kill him, he is innocent," said Meena Kumari. "Ishika and Sai Adhithya too are innocents and had so many dreams in their mind," said Akhil, and they both brutally shoots Vikram dead, leaving Meena Kumari shattered. Vijayan returns to his home, where Yachini, her jealousy and money-minded elder sister, Divya, and younger sister, Vaishnavi, takes him inside after inviting warmly. By now, Yachini had fallen in love with Sakthi, but he is not interested as he is keen to prove Ishika's innocence and to fulfill Sai Adhithya's dreams. Even Yachini's father wishes Sakthi to be as his son-in-law. But he refuses, as he had still been haunted with Ishika, and Akhil too refuses Vijayan's hand for marriage. This makes Yachini's sister, Divya, happier. Meanwhile, all evidences are collected against Meena Kumari and her gangster units regarding the illegal trading. Meena Kumari's networks in Lakshadweep and Noyal River banks are thwarted and burnt down by the defense and army forces. Their passports and citizenship is banned by the Indian government for having networks with terrorists and drug smugglers. Left with no choice, Meena Kumari goes in hiding in the hideout, where she decides to avenge her brother's death. At first, she kidnaps Yachini and takes her to a secluded place, where she tortures her brutally and gives her an overdose of protocolamidine. As a result, she faints and later on, leaves her in the spots of Ahayampalayam, with her car also being left in that place. Sakthi rescues her on time after being informed about this and admits her in the hospital. After seeing her, the doctor tells to him they have mixed protocolamidine. Henceforth, it's difficult for regaining consciousness for 3 days. "Sir, For the immediate consciousness, what should we do now? Asked Sakthi. Blood dialysis, said the doctor, to which he accepts and prolongs in. Sir. Please sign in this document, said the doctor, after which he remembers the death of Ishika, and signs the document. She is saved. Meanwhile, Miyanakomori slits Arvind to death, when he is coming towards Coimbatore through the roads of Kovenur. Yes, Arvind. Where are you? Asked Sakthi. Phone had been threwed. That's why, I took it, said Miyanakomori. Where was the phone? Asked Sakthi. Pilamedu, sir. No, sir, in Mettuplayam. No, sir, near to G.N. Mills. Not that too, sir. Near to Vijayawada district, sir. Mocked Miyanakomori. Hey, Miyanakomori, shouted Sakthi. Hey. If you destroy my whole terrorist network, will I fear? That spy Arvind is lying dead near to the roads of Kovenur. Come and take him, said Miyanakomori. Hey, said Sakthi, and with Akhil, rushes to the spot to see him. Sakthi and Akhil are shocked to hear his friend's death and rushes to see him, and they cries out loud. Now, Miyanakomori calls Sakthi. Are you feeling painful? It's just a trial. From now, I will kill all those who are close to you. You would not even have time to cry or chatter, except to rush for collecting the dead bodies. Now another bad news for you, Sakthi. Your family is safely burning. Come and collect them also, said Miyanakomori. Sakthi is furious to see Arvind and his own family's death and goes furious. He vows to kill Miyanakomori. For the reasons of Arvind's death, Akhil and Sakthi are suspended by the commissioner initially, but after being requested by the Vijayawada DGP, they are reinstated into the duty. Miyanakomori is asked to be encountered at any time and anywhere after being told to found in Tamil Nadu's any places. Now, in order to protect herself, Meena hatches a plan. According to the plan, she kidnaps Yachini, posing as a nurse, and her family, takes them to the islands of Bay of Bengal near Kanyakumari. She threatens Sakthi and Akhil to come for the island if they needs them alive. After reaching the place, Sakthi and Akhil fights with the Bangkok and North Indian gangsters of Bihar using their Adamurai and Salambam skills of martial arts, which seems to be helpful for them, and later, Sakthi destroys the whole islands with bombers, so that no one can ever hide in such a place. Crossing some dangerous trees and plants, Sakthi and Akhil reaches Miyanakomori's hideout where they rescues Yachini and her family, and a fight occurs between Miyanakomori and Sakthi. Miyanakomori tells Sakthi that she too is trained in martial arts and asks him to fight with her if he can. Initially, Sakthi is beaten up severely and he falls down. After remembering the country's disaster and his family's loss, Sakthi wakes up and beats up Miyanakomori. He brutally shoots down and kills Miyanakomori after being remembered about the deaths of Ishika, his family, Arvind and Sai Adhithya. Sakthi accepts Yachini's love and they reconcile while Divya realizes the true love other than money and changes into a good person. Now, Sakthi, having fulfilled the dreams of Sai Adhithya, decides to return for Indian Army under Air Force, which is his long dreams from childhood, and he bids a tearful farewell for Akhil Ram. Yachini and Vijayan too learns Sakti's true profession, and they feels proud that he has sacrificed his dream to fulfill the dreams of Sai Adhithya. Later, Sakthi leaves to the Kashmir borders and meets the DGP, who has also come there. Here, their main motive is known. Sakthi decided to continue his profession as IPS officer, and indeed, the DGP has given him another mission to be fulfilled by Sakthi. Miyanakomori's illegal weapons were told to be grabbed by the terrorists, and indeed with the help of those, they has planned to stage an attack in India. Hence, Sakthi is sent in order to stop this attacks, but he hides it from Akhil and his family since Akhil had already helped him a lot. While refreshing himself with martial arts, Sakthi notices a book named The Journey of Investigation, written by Yachini, dedicating it to Sai Adhithya, and he smiles at the book.